The king of the burgers may be lying to you about how big a Whopper really is. Burger King is facing a Whopper-sized lawsuit as customers are challenging fast food giants, including McDonald's and Wendy's, among others, about food portion sizes. The idea being, of course, shrinkflation, right? We're going to sell you the same thing, but we'll make it smaller. So we won't raise the price. We'll just sell you less and hope you won't notice. This is something that, of course, has been done in many different aspects of commerce. Ice cream, perhaps most notably, you don't have real pints anymore, maybe 14 ounces, maybe 13 ounces, that kind of idea, right? We're going to sell you less, but tell you it's the same, and we're going to charge you the same price. The idea is shrinkflation, but perhaps they are being a bit deceptive about how much Whopper you're going to get. If you want to have it your way, well, the Burger King's on trial today. Let's learn a little bit more about this story. Burger King has been told it must defend itself in court against claims its signature Whopper burgers are too small. The rent is too high. The Whopper burgers are too small. After a judge dismissed company efforts to have the case thrown out, the latest in a growing number of similar challenges as disgruntled customers push back against what they say is disappointing mismatch between what the fast food giants actually serve and the glossy products they advertise. This, of course, comes in many, many different ways. The product we get is not the product we were promised. We saw this as well as Taco Bell, where they had a really, really sad burrito that basically had nothing in it compared to their images. And we're like, yeah, those two things are different. So Burger King is also having similar problems where they're claiming, or has been claimed rather, that they have modified their products trying to deceive the consumer. The U.S. District Judge Roy Altman of Miami last week rejected Burger King's efforts to throw out the class action lawsuit from customers accusing the chain of exaggerating the size of its flagship Whopper burgers on in-store boards. So those pictures are supposed to be representative of what you get. Now, maybe they are, they're carefully assembled, in the picture so that they'll look really, really nice. But fundamentally, you're supposed to be getting that product. Maybe not assembled with the due care that they would do in a professional shoot, but so fundamentally the same product, right? Because that is the product I'm buying. That's the product you're advertising. That is the representation you're making. And if you're making a false representation to me as part of that, that's what we call fraud. And fraud is bad. So the idea that the sandwich boards display are so far afield from what reality is at this point that, there's a problem. The lawsuit claims that the company's depiction includes a meatier patty and ingredients that overflow in the bun, make the Whopper appear to be 35% larger and contain double the amount of meat of that which customers were actually served. So I'm not sure how you go about measuring such things, but apparently someone has measured such things and been like, I am not getting enough lettuce on my Whopper. I'm not sure whether or not they asked for more lettuce or not, because Burger King is famous for saying, have it your way. So I'm not sure whether or not they asked or not, but okay. Burger King denied wrongdoing and said reasonable consumers do not expect every burger to look exactly like an advertising photo, which, fair enough, right? The advertising photo should be real, but just a perfected version of real. In fact, most times, a lot of times, they'll just use real products. I mean, not all food is like this. Sometimes they'll use substitutes. Sometimes they'll use glue in view of milk instead of milk or something like that. But a lot of these burger commercials will actually use the real product. They'll just assemble it really, really carefully so that it looks good for the photo shoot. But maybe Burger King isn't necessarily doing that. The judge, whose decision was made public on Friday, said it was not the court's place to decide what American consumers find significant, adding it should be up to a jury to tell us what reasonable people think. There you go, right? What would the reasonably prudent person think? Ask the reasonably prudent person, the jury, right? What do they think the menu is fair or unfair? The judge's ruling allows for customers to pursue Burger King for what they claim is breach of contract, unjust enrichment. You got money in an unfair way because you deceived us, where one party benefits at the expense of the other, and negligent misrepresentation. However, the judge did dismiss claims against Burger King's online and television adverts, saying the company had not promised the burger would be a particular size or weight when served. So they didn't say quarter pounder like McDonald's does, right? So there's the difference. But when you're actually in the store, actually looking at that menu, that's actually there, that's supposed to be the product I'm buying, right? I'd like number one, please. And then you get it and you're like, but that's not what number one is. So I feel sad. Burger King sports spokesperson for their part told Forbes the plaintiff's claims are false, and the patties shown in the ads are the same patties used in the Whopper sandwiches it's served, which again is not atypical for burger ads, that they literally use exactly the same patties and exactly the same ingredients that they would use in store. They'll be more carefully assembled, more carefully put together, but literally the exact same, right? So that way that there's less an idea that you've been tricked, because it's literally the same products, at least that's the idea. So yeah. Burger King, of course, is not alone when it comes to such issues. Fast food joints have faced increasing number of legal challenges in recent years over disconnects between adverts and reality. In July, Taco Bell was sued over scant portion sizes, and we covered that lawsuit as well, where we saw the burrito as pictured, which is a warm, fluffy, huge burrito stuffed full of ingredients. And then we saw the real thing, which basically had nothing inside of it. It was very, very sad and made us all sad. So we're like, yeah, that's a problem. So Taco Bell was sued. McDonald's and Wendy's are also filing similar lawsuits as well on some of their issues. In 2016, Subway settled a case claiming its footlongs were not always footlong. And this year prevailed over a woman who claimed his tuna was not actually tuna. Yeah. So, Subway seems to be a little bit unfairly maligned in this. Their tuna was tuna, and their footlongs, they use the same amount of bread, which may not be baked perfectly to a footlong, but usually is. So yeah, that was a bit of an unfair one against Subway. Of course, this case may never make it all the way to trial, because companies may want to settle for a whole bunch of reasons. So look forward to your $3 coupon in the mail at some point, so you can get yourself another Whopper from Burger King, as there is an effort to settle. Thus, that brings us to the end of the case for the moment about the Burger King facing that Whopper-sized lawsuit, joining other fast food manufacturers, then claiming that what they're being sold in sort of the imagery is not what they're being sold in sort of the product, that there is a disconnect between the representation and reality. Burger King's over here like, no, we sold you the real thing. It just looks differently because it wasn't assembled with the utmost care like you would do in an ad, but it's the same thing. And these people were like, no, actually like half as much meat. So, okay, I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but that's what's happening in this fast food related lawsuit, at least for the moment. That brings us to the end of discussion of this story.